At the request of the Carpenter family, Spencer, RAYNELL, and Brian. Spencer and RAYNELL lost their son, Brian, his older brother, on November 11th, 2021. And at the request of his family, who called on me both in ministry, friendship, and I was the mentor to Dorian Carpenter. So this tragedy is very close and very personal to me. But this video is not an obituary. This video is simply a small message to say, grab your children today. Grab your brother or sister today. There's a lot of things and a lot of pains that we tend to hold on to. A lot of things that we carry and baggages we carry. Some of us is hating our brothers. Some of us might be angry at our sisters. Some of us may be angry at our baby mother, and sometimes the baby mother is angry at the father. And when that person goes on to be with the Lord or Allah or universe, it's a time in which many people grieve in regrets. They regret maybe arguments. They regret words they spoke. They regret times they missed. They go through a lot of regrets, and I'm witnessing so many people who are just regretting on many different levels. So my first part of this message is take the time, take a little bit of energy, call everybody you know, tell them you love them. Tell them today, no matter what they may have done to you, that you love them. I know that it can be very hard to forgive people. It can be very hard to forgive people that may have hurt you and your family. Forgive them. You know, the simple word of Jesus is, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And a lot of times, people really don't know they may have hurt you in a certain kind of way. Some people may not even understand what they did when they did it. I know that's very hard to comprehend for some. But I know it to be true. while going through this, I also recognize the pain of men who had a hard time crying. They had a hard time of processing the tragedy. And now I don't want you to think or to believe that all the books I've read and all of the theology I've studied, that I can relate to such pains of the loss of a child that died before the parent, because as a parent I can't even conceptualize, I can't even fathom, and I will never lie to you and say I understand, because I do not. No amount of theology, no amount of college, no book could ever teach me the emotional pains of the loss of a child or the loss of my brother. But what I will say in all of this, Dorian Carpenter battled with not only diabetes, but he also battled with a serious mental health issue. A health issue that kept him from seeking mental help. And while on his last few months, he opened up a lot to me, and he spoke to me a great deal. And while I finally got him to accept some things in his life, and he was starting to make those steps to accept the fact that his sickness was keeping him from work. He was fired from work because of his attendance. I connected him to a lawyer so that he can start following the process for getting disability. Just last week, he called me and said that he had food stamps on the way so that he can eat. And while things we thought were starting to look up, yesterday it went down. And I say that to say this: depression is real. Depression is real. I'm not one who wants to speculate, but please give me this room to speculate. I believe that allegedly that Dorian fell more into depression, which can cause us to give up on life. And fighting depression is hard. It's hard, I know. I've been there. I've been there. And I'm asking anybody, please, please, pick up the phone. Please call somebody. Whether you call a national hotline, whether you call a friend, call your brother, call your mother, call your girlfriend, call your boyfriend. I don't give a damn. Call somebody, please. Please get help. Please. Because I don't have a problem confessing. 4 years ago, and around this time, I too fell into a dark place, a dark tunnel. And I didn't know what was going on when I fell into that dark place and into that dark tunnel. But I know it to be real because I lived it. And I stayed alive long enough to see my youngest daughter graduate college. And then it hit me. And I too didn't want to live again. And if it wasn't for my cousin, who saw it on my face, he recognized the depression. He recognized what it looks like. He took me to the local nearest VA hospital in Salisbury, North Carolina. And for the first time, I was able to get the help that I didn't even realize I needed. Today, I live to tell my story. The happy-go-lucky United States Army veteran, the minister, the pastor, and yes, Ben Cockles too, has a reason to live. But I wouldn't have had that reason if I wasn't man enough to die to my own ego and go get some mental help. We live in a time where we can get help. Maybe you're a mother, or brother, or sister, or even a father. I ask you to make sure you please check in with a mental health provider today. Even if there's no more just, hey, I just want to make sure I'm mentally healthy. We're starting to do okay when it comes to our physical health. But I'm asking you today to take care of your mental health. Now, normally, I'll be talking about all the positive things today. And while at the time of this video, I will be dealing more with the family, both from a ministry side as well as just being a human being and a friend to the family. And while they go through this grieving, and I could never put a time limit on grieving, and I'll never put a time limit on your grieving. I ask, don't show pity, because they're not looking to be pitied. They're not looking for cash apps, and they're not looking for GoFundMes. They're not doing that. But the most powerful thing that they're requesting is your prayers. Because the prayers of the righteous availeth much. In my About box, you will find a place where my email is. You're more than welcome to send words of encouragement or anything that you want to say that can't fit in the comment section of this video. And while they probably, in the time of their mourning, in the time of their grieving, may not get to it at the moment, or may not be able to read it at the moment, I'm quite sure in due time they will have full access, because I will print out every single comment and make sure that every email is placed, that they can read your kind words to them. So again, to Dorian, Carpenter, I love you, bruh. You lived a full life. And now you get to hang out with your grandmother, who passed away last year. You will be heavenly missed, but you are heavenly and earthly loved. We thank you for your smiles, for your laughter, for your joys, for your fashion icon statements. But most of all, we're going to miss you. But we thank God that you no longer have to feel pain, bruh. So, you are now in a better place. And I'm glad that God allowed me to know you. So, this one was for you.